shifting back to the business, explain to me how the actual product suite developed over time. So in the beginning, you had the education, and then you had the services that layered on top of that. Was that the main thing for like a decade, or and like walk me through how you ended up scaling that? Was that all through media?
Well, we had the radio show didn't make money for a decade because they don't pay you to do radio. Even today, I don't get paid by radio stations. I have a clock split with them, and so and we didn't have anything to sell when we split the clock, and so we didn't make any money. So whatever we put into radio was lost dollars. But it was the megaphone. It was the lead mechanism. Okay, and so I started doing some speaking, and then I thought, well, hey, we could do like a little public event in town because we were only on the air in one time. So we went on the radio and announced, and I think we had I don't know 100 people or something come out and paid us like $40 or something to sit for 3 hours or 5 hours or whatever it was and listen to me yammer in my hillbilly twang about getting out of debt. And so we had live events started to develop. We had the little book, so we had a little bit of a publishing thing going. And we had the class itself, which is a long form. It's a combination of 12-step and curriculum, so to speak. And so radio, publishing, live events, those were the first, and what becomes Financial Peace University were the first element. Oh, and one-on-one coaching, one-on-one counseling, we called it in those days. We now call it financial coaching. So there's no confusion that we're not licensed therapists. Because some people can't seem to, it's not clear. But anyway, coaching is hard to mess that up. So, so we do that. And each of those things grew at different rates. And so there were different times in the 30 years that Financial Peace University was bringing in the lion's share of the money. And then publishing would come up and pass it. Live events has pretty much always been a slightly profitable, but really good secondary lead source.
Okay.
So if you come to a live event, because you heard us on the radio, it's going down the funnel, the marketing funnel, so to speak, and then they might buy Financial Peace University, which is, a 9-week commitment and a high, instead of a $20 event ticket, it's $80 to go through it or whatever. So we were working that, and there were always books on the back table too. So, and so once those things worked, and the book, and we had a New York Times, the book eventually evolved and was purchased by a publisher and became our first New York Times bestseller. Once that happened, and then we start doing we start getting more and more radio stations and doing more and more media. So instead of just doing the little local news guy, we actually, with the book tour the first time, got on the Today Show. And then that opened up something, and then pretty much been doing New York media for 25 years. Obviously all that's free, but it's lead generation.
And so if I were to say this back to you, the radio station served as the big megaphone to gather attention and then point it in a direction. And one of the places you'd point it in the earlier days was the live events, which functioned a little bit as a conversion event for you guys from a business perspective. And then those people would get funneled into whatever was appropriate for their budget. Either they'd buy some books, or they'd buy the curriculum, or they'd buy the curriculum and some one-on-one counsel. One-on-one financial coaching. And then that machine has been what you've continued to spin the wheel on, and then gather more and more and more media.
Yeah, we've got more and more product mix now. Okay. I mean, we've got, we ended up, I advertised for a stock brokerage firm, and then when I sent the leads, the people would go over there, the local broker that they went to would tell them to do stuff that I had just told them on the air not to do. Yeah. And so that didn't work. And, people are pissed off. And and so we said, well, guys, y'all can't do that with the leads we send you. Well, you can't tell us what to do. And I said, I can tell you can't advertise, so we're not going to be on the air. So we dropped those folk. And so the product suite from there, that was the core initial product mix. And then what we did was we would hear about some need that was a similar thing, but a finger off of that. So, for instance, a local coach at a Catholic high school took my Financial Peace book and started teaching his seniors because they needed to know about personal finance. And then called me up and goes, hey, I hope you don't mind. I'm like, well, I don't mind, and I'm kind of complicated, but let's work together on this. Let me help. So I went over and spoke to him. a couple times. They're sweet kids, and he's a great guy. Greg Carson, he's a friend of this day. And we ended up out of that developing a high school curriculum that's now been taught in 48% of the high schools. 6.5 million kids have been through it. And so, that was, again, another product line. And that Ed Solutions is another department, if you will, inside of Ramsey today, and pretty substantial revenues for high school, college, and even middle school curriculum. And then, corporate America says, okay, we'd like for our employees to get this stuff. So we take a modified version of the Financial Peace University that doesn't have as much of the Bible stuff in it. And we have to not violate some HR rules and stuff. So we had to change some of it, make it a little more vanilla on different things. And it's called Smart Dollar. And gosh, man, I don't know, 10,000 companies have now taught it, including big ones like U-Haul and Costco. All of their employees have gone through it. So that's a whole other product line, but it's, so the brand suite or the product suite continues to evolve as we look at different things where we can serve. We took over all the publishing, and so we do all our books now self-published, have for about a decade.
How do you think about spinning out new products, like what to do versus not, like, because there's obviously focus in a business, right? You have limited time and resources. Like, how do you say this is going to be something we're going to just partner with someone on, or this is something that we're going to bring in-house and actually own entirely, or just not do it all and ignore and just let somebody make some extra cash on it and we just don't worry about it?
Yeah. Well, one thing we don't do is we have made a conscious philosophical decision to not sell financial products. So we don't sell insurance. We don't sell investments. We don't sell real estate. We endorse people that do, but they don't work for us. They're advertisers of sorts. Endorse in our Ramsey Trusted is what it falls under, that brand. So some of them have ads on the podcast. Some of them we say go to the website and fill out a form. You find the realtor we recommend in your area that's Ramsey Trusted, that kind of thing. And so that way, when I'm giving real estate advice, someone doesn't say, oh, he's just trying to get us to do that. Now, they still say he's trying to just get us to be a real estate lead, but that's different than he's trying to sell me a house or he's trying to sell me a mutual fund. We don't endorse particular mutual funds, and we don't sell investments like that. So you can't say the reason Dave does insurance is because, or says term by term insurance is because he owns a term insurance firm, because I don't. And, one of the lies out there floating around is I own half of Churchill Mortgage, which I don't own a dime of. It'd been nice if I had, and they've done really well. And I own half or some of Zander Insurance. They're both advertisers, been with me 26, 27 years consecutively. And, but I don't own any of those. They're friends of mine, but I've been doing business with them for 3 decades, and they do really well, and they do a great job for our listener.
And so those are media partnerships. So they're sponsors, and that's how you
they're sponsors. That's all they are. I mean, they're just advertisers on the original talk radio show, which is now, like you guys, I mean, it's podcast and YouTubes and TikToks and the whole thing, everything. Yeah.